Hello, everybody. Welcome back to BU Inspirational Interviews. With me, I have a very special guest. He's an actual living legend. I'm not even kidding. And backstory. So I interview mostly people that I've known for a while. And Sunspot, I have met you before on tour.
Really?
Yes. I was like,
probably-
can I get a picture?
That's what's up. It's a
Back
show.
in the
Okay,
day.
I get it.
Yeah. And you're like, okay, I have it. Maybe I'll like plug it in
There
the.
we go. Wait, and here's the picture here. All right, there it is.
Okay. So
I
that
look
was
crazy
a
in that picture. Damn.
You wearing the
okay.
tank top,
Yeah,
flexing your
wow.
muscles. Anyway,
I'm not wearing tank tops no more. No, I probably am. But okay, sorry. Go on. Go on.
But Sunspot is part of a hip hop group that I have been a fan of since I was in the 8th grade.
Damn, how to date it? How you date it? You're like since 1969. 70.
Okay, it was 2001. Thank you very much.
All right.
Almost Famous album. So backstory.
Yes.
There was a kid in my summer school class. His name was Tony, and I was like, "What's your favorite song?" And he's like, "Anything by the Living Legends." And I was like, "Who's the Living Legends?" And he burned me a CD, and I instantly
burnt a
Yes.
CD. Just the
Yes.
term burnt a CD. How many people even know about that? Like if you was born probably like after 2010, I mean, was they burning
don't-
CDs
no,
anymore?
no.
Wow, that's
No.
15-year-olds don't know about
No.
burnt CDs.
They don't even know what I just said.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
but
Burnt CDs is when you actually make a copy, like
Yeah.
a tape. Oh wait, you wouldn't even. Okay, we went too far. All right,
Anyway.
it's good.
he
Date
made
dated.
all his favorite songs, and one of them. Okay, just backstory. I have like one of those ADHD brains where it's like nonstop, and I get hyper fixated on something. We create stims, right? So a stim
Right.
is something you repeat over and over
Yeah.
again. And one of my stims till this day is "We are there."
Oh yeah.
Right in the okay, but then I
Never
have to
seen
say
the
Sunspot Jonz, and that's
Oh,
him.
Wow, okay.
So full
Triple
circle, we're
Sunspot,
here.
Purple Kush, Dirty Faces. You
Yes,
already know.
yes.
You know how you know. It's
I
a lot
love
more though.
Purple Kush. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
thank you.
anywho, you have an album out now.
Yes.
There's a new Living Legends album that I thought
Well, let's
wasn't
start.
gonna
Wait.
happen.
First,
Okay,
I have a new album.
You have a solo album,
New
yes.
album, Bad to the Bones. Sunspot Jonz, Bad to the Bones. That's out. And
Underground
now,
Bones.
the other day, we just dropped Living Legends,
Yes.
Legendary Music, Volume 3.
Yes.
So yeah, we got a lot of good music, a lot of music period happening, a lot of activity, and I mean, as we get older, we're still doing it and making more and more, and that's what's important when you're an artist. You produce, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And it's a good time because we produce it.
And you have been for a while,
Yeah.
right? You guys took a small little hiatus for like a couple years, right?
As a group,
As a group, yeah.
but like I still made music, Grouch still made music, Scarab still made music.
So you're kind of
but-
like the Wu-Tang Clan.
yeah,
you
we
know?
all got issues. Oh wait, because like that?
no.
No, yeah, definitely. No, I mean, we're a collective that all have their own individual personalities and artistic beliefs and how they want to do shit and ideas for their own songs. But then also when
Yeah,
we come
but
together
together
and
it's-
make a
oh
song
my God.
together, Voltron, this
Yes.
is all rhyming. Damn, this shit is on. This shit's bomb.
Yes.
It's bumping. So like, I really appreciate like all the fire that it takes to build an inferno. Because when you get to Living Legends, I feel like that's the inferno. That's like all these
Yes.
small little fires, like boom,
Yes.
put together. And
Yeah.
that's the new album, Living Legends, Legendary Music Volume 3.
Yeah. So in the Bay Area especially, there's a lot of people that look up to you, Sunspot. They're like, oh my God, he
Oh,
does
really?
nothing but yes.
That's what's up, man.
100%, yeah.
Love to them. Nah,
Nice.
really, because you want to hear what my mama got to say about me, but we can move on past that.
Yeah, you're an actual living legend in the Bay Area, especially my generation. Like we grew up
Word.
listening to you, right?
Word.
So in all of that, right? You have so many people looking up to you, like, man, I want to be like Sunspot. I want to be like Living Legends. Was there a time in your life where you're like, man, I don't know if I could do this? Like, was there a struggle at any point, or are you just a prodigy that just?
I mean, I wish the whole idea. I was born like Richie Rich, and like I was born into a place where I had so much like acceptance and promise and hookup and things were gonna be like exactly how I dreamed it in my head. It never was that because I was raised, basically in a foster care system. I was
Oh,
I
I
was
didn't know
put up
that.
for adoption at birth, and I was adopted at 4. And the people that adopted me, when I turned 6, they got a divorce. So like I was only really, I guess you could say, happily adopted for like 2 years, and like once they broke up and it became like a thing where it was just me and my mom, dynamics changed, and I started running away. I started like living in the street, and once I started living in the street, I was like ward of the street because once you get caught, they put you in an emergency foster home while
So you were
the
taken away from your original?
well, I was for after being adopted and living in many different
Yeah.
like my whole shit. I
Yeah.
mean, like when it comes to the crossroads and my whole thought of like how shit's been is like I never like every day is a moment where I'm checking and questioning, you know, myself and what's up. It's funny that Tupac line when he goes, I wake up every day, I think, should I blast myself? Not like I want to blast myself, but as much as like, should I just like give it up? Should I just quit this shit? Like, because this shit is a thing of, like I said to you earlier, validation and allowing yourself to be validated. When in the
Right.
end, something my mom would say is like, fuck all these motherfuckers. Like, really, like, why do you care about anything that anybody thinks about you?
Yeah.
But when you're doing something that's a public, display of art, you want it to be accepted. And like I was saying, my whole beginnings of like, I was raised in the foster system, until I was 4. I was like, I was given up for adoption at birth. The people that adopted me, my mom now, like, she was married and then she got divorced 2 years after I was adopted. So then I felt like I became a burden, or that's how it kind of just turned into.
Yeah.
So I started running away. And then once I started running away and shit, I started seeing what the street had to offer when it come to like where life could go or what it could be. But at the same time, never feeling accepted, even in those times, like so. I think my whole thing is just basically, it's always a question of like, should I give up? Should I just stop? Because of all the different things that's happened to me in life, whether it's like, not being accepted at birth and then going into like, another thing where I got to be accepted to actually be successful.
Right.
It's just, it's a weird mind trip. And in the end, I really don't care because like I'm a grown up now, but
Yeah.
like you never stop thinking about what's the right angle of how you should perceive what you're
Yeah.
doing.
Because that's a trauma wound, right? Like
It's
from
always
childhood.
a trauma. Yeah, all
So-
of us have it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Definitely. So do you see the impact you have on your fans?
I think that whole moment is a snapshot of like something I recognize right then.
Yeah.
But if you concentrate too much of how you're seen by people, like I was saying,
The
you're gonna
validation thing.
validate.
Yeah.
You're gonna change even what you're doing. When people
Oh.
like, I gotta make a song now that's gonna only cater to them and all
Oh,
this
yeah.
shit. In theory, that sounds great, but
Yeah.
as an artist, it doesn't really work because now you're contriving.
And you lose
You know what I'm
yourself.
saying?
Yeah.
You lose
If
yourself
you
and
go
you
that
lose your
route.
point of
Yeah.
what you're trying to do. Your whole moment is to go down them white water rapids and keep just dodging them rocks and keep trying to make it to the clear water. And even when you get to the clear water, you're like, where the rest of the rapids? Like, I want to go. You want to? I mean, because like if you're an artist, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? I mean, like I told you before, like I chose art over family, in the sense of like I have no kids. I had never had a wife because I chose art all the time. I mean, once the
Yeah.
ride's over, I want to go again and let's,
Yeah.
oh, I've been accepted this way. Now let's go to another place where I'm not accepted at all, and everybody's like, fuck you. Let's see what I can
Yeah.
do and like see if I can make something happen there because it's about the light of the way you're going. Sometimes people can live in that snapshot of like, oh, you're this person and oh, you've done all these things, and it's never to disrespect anybody that's felt that, but I can't allow myself to live in that moment too long. I gotta make sure I pay attention to what I'm doing, first and foremost, or I will be looking for people to validate me.
Yeah.
And two, I got to understand that like it's okay to do that.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Living in your authenticity.
Yeah, it's okay. It's because, like I said, we allow people to judge us so much that we can't even allow ourselves to be ourselves. At
Right.
this point, your courtesy smile you're giving to everybody is your courtesy smile you're giving every day. Like, you know those motherfuckers that you just talk to them and they're just like, and they be laughing, and they be smiling. You're like, bitch, what are you laughing at? What
Yeah.
are you laughing at? Not like you, but I'm saying, we are, even myself,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
catch
yeah.
myself giving courtesy smiles, and it's just to get past the moment, to get to the
Yeah.
next moment where I can feel more
It's surface level stuff, right?
comfort. I mean, it's not surface because it's all digs deep, you know what I'm saying? So like when I get admiration or all that shit, it's the greatest moment, but at the same time, stay focused. Stay focused, you know? Don't get caught up on what anyone thinks of you.
Yeah.
You know? You can stand behind my mama. She number one, got a lot of things to say about me,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? After that, I'm good. But now,
Yeah.
I mean, not like I never loved my mom, but I'm saying everything's a lesson in a sense, you know what I mean? And I learned those lessons early.
You know what I've heard? So I watched a lot of different podcasts and I listened to a lot of different people like online, and they say when you have a certain level of fame, you can't give into that. Like, oh, they love me, because the
Yeah.
next day they might not.
They're definitely not
And
gonna
if
love you.
and
next
if
time.
you are so like dependent on that like love, like, oh, my fans, that like holding on to that validation, it could be the other opposite side of the coin where you're like, oh, I don't like your old stuff and blah blah blah.
Oh, it's
Like
always
they're
gonna
like
be that
these,
too. Yeah.
and it's like then you'll crumble under that
Yeah.
pressure because you relied so heavy on the applause, right? Like, oh, I'm your biggest fan, I love your music. And then the opposite side where you're gonna see like the comments of like, oh, I don't like this, I like your old stuff, and you know.
I mean, I
It's-
think it's something that you have to deal with as an artist. Period. Just understanding the guard and the shield you wear, like whether it's good or bad,
Yeah.
you can't let it really go in and feed this ego. Like once you're feeding this ego, it's a false sensibility of who you are, and that false sensibility of who you are, you're kind of like, oh shit, everybody feels this way about me. And the moment that you see they don't, it can fuck you up to the point you can't even get back on the horse and do your own shit.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And a lot of people deal with that on many levels, even beyond music.
I
you
was
know
just
what I
gonna
mean?
say that, yes.
So it's the thing of like, how do you understand who you are, and how do you process what people say to you, and how do you emit the light that you have inside of yourself to where it's unhindered?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
It's hard.
It is.
It's hard.
But it's important
It's
that
fucking
you
important.
stay true to yourself.
That's why most
your-
dope artists are crazy, because they've let
Like
go.
Kanye?
They've
I
let
like
go. They've released any of the understanding of what it is that you're supposed to.
Yes.
You're supposed to be socially, which is supposed to be like, you understand, we're all been conditioned to a certain point. We all have created rules for ourselves that nobody has really said to you, but you understand they're the
Yeah.
rules. Like I saw some shit once that said like, I've seen more careers derailed and ended by fear more than what people have said to them.
Because they're scared of what they're gonna say or how they're
Yeah,
perceived.
this whole
Ooh.
understanding of what you think
That's
people
deep.
think, which is completely fake.
Right.
You have no idea how fucking people think.
Yeah.
But that whole fake understanding of your ruling of how you think you can measure who people are and what they're gonna say actually ruins your future. So like I've seen more careers ruined or derailed by themselves, the people, than what someone has said to them.
Yeah.
Because we're still guarding ourselves to where we want to save face. To the point that I'll hurt myself, like I told you before.
Yeah.
I'll hurt myself so you're okay. And you don't even know these motherfuckers probably,
Yeah.
but you just want to be a better human. What the fuck does that mean?
Right.
I see motherfucking a chicken eat some fried chicken the other day. You know what I'm saying? It was online, but I'm
No.
saying motherfuckers don't, you can't judge anything on life and say how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Anything could happen. Everything is fucking gonna be in the moment of what it is. It's not what you think it is in your head.
Right.
There's nothing you can say to me that I can give the correct answer back to you that you've already probably thought in your head. It has to be said. It has to be said so you can be like, okay, I understand, but like we have this false like autopilot of us thinking we understand every fucking person in the world and what they should think, and you know, it just gets
What's right and what's
distorted.
wrong, like
Right, it
my
gets
way is the right
distorted.
way, and everybody
Yeah.
should, yeah.
You know, some shit you gotta follow, but some shit you
Yeah,
gotta
but
let
that's,
go.
yeah.
Yeah. So I don't really sit in that moment too much. I am happy that people are connected in the moment, and they're connected in something that I've done. That's the only reason why I do it. I do it for myself first, and then after that, if it's accepted by people, that's the cream on top. And you know, that's just how I live, and
Yeah.
that's the only way I can keep doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know.
Do the other members of Living Legends have align with your mentality of like you're doing this for yourself?
I think anyone that's doing underground hip hop at this point is doing it for themselves first, because they're not making it and thinking, oh, this is gonna get played on the radio this weekend. This is gonna be on KML. I'm gonna get E40 on it. I'm gonna get Too Short on it. I'm gonna get, you know, all these, you know, legacy artists from the Bay that are hella big, but at the same time, when you're underground and you don't have money behind you, you're kind of not seen by people that are on the top, you know? So I think we all have that collective understanding that no matter what, the reason why we exist is because we make music that we fucking love first. You know?
Yeah.
Like, we were all each other's favorite rappers first.
Yeah.
You know, that's why we're all in a group together. You know?
Yeah.
So that's how it works.
How did you guys meet?
Me and Lucky met first because we knew some girls together. Like, I was going out with one girl, he was going out with another, and then they're like, oh, you should meet my friend from LA. He just came up, and then we kicked it that night, and we became friends. And you know, I think like maybe like a month later, I was like, yo, you should just move up to the Bay and like just be in this group with me, because everybody, I was in a group called Mystic Journeyman, and everybody in that
With
group,
Eli, right?
right? No, not with Eli, no.
Oh, he was the gypsy.
He's the Melancholy Gypsies,
Yeah.
But I was in a group with like 3 other people that were all going away to school or college and all this shit.
Yeah.
And it was changing, so I was alone, and I was like, oh, you should just join. And Tom was like, yeah, I'm coming. I'm gonna move up to the Bay. And he just moved up to the Bay out of the craziness. And from there,
On a whim.
I met,
He's
yeah,
just like,
on a
I trust
whim.
you,
He
let's
just
go.
did it, yeah. And then from there, I was going out with this other girl, and she was friends with, you can say girls hooked us up. That's crazy. She was going out with, she was best friends with this one girl that was Grouch.
Okay, yeah.
She was best friends with this one girl who was going out with Grouch, and basically Grouch came to one of our going away parties, and he was like, yo, I just moved into this place in Alameda. It's my grandma's house, and she just passed away, so if you guys need a place to stay. And at this point, we had just got kicked out of the warehouse where we were living. And yeah, because I was gonna fight our landlord. It's just some dumb shit. And from there, it just turned into, okay, now me, Grouch, and Lucky are all living together. And then from there...
In Oakland.
In Oakland.
Yeah.
And then from there, somehow Merce came into the picture because we were in Santa Cruz before, and he was going to Cabrillo College. And so all of a sudden Merce was down. And then Eli and Merce were already friends from high school along with Scarab. And Eli actually, his cousin I was friends with in high school in a weird way. Like, I never knew him. It was just like serendipity, right?
Yeah.
And he was the one, like, when I ran away, I would stay at his house.
Aw,
And
yeah.
like, you know, he would hide me in his house, you know what I mean? And so that was, oh, and then Josh Picasso, he was in Humboldt. We'd always go up to Humboldt every so often before we go to Europe, and we met Picasso, and then next thing you know, he moved down to the Bay, and then he got this warehouse, and he got a warehouse where we all end up moving in. And so
All of you?
All of us. All of
Oh,
us lived in
shoot.
this 2,000 square foot warehouse on 58th and East 14th. And then from there, Aesop was just a character that was friends with another person we knew that was just always around. And like, you know, when it was time to leave, he was like, I ain't leaving, I'm staying here, I'm gonna be on the couch. And somehow he just like, you know, became family, and yeah. And then now we're all brothers.
That's
just
so
doing
awesome.
it.
What
doing
year
it
was that?
forever.
Do you remember?
It's a long time ago, people.
1999.
If you know, you know. Yeah, somewhere around
Because
there.
Almost Famous came out in 2001.
Yeah.
I know that because that
Yeah.
was,
But we have a lot of music before then too. Probably 5 years before
but
then.
like separated.
But, yeah, separated.
That was the one album of
that you,
actual
that you
Living
found
Legends.
out about,
yeah.
right?
Well,
yeah. So yeah, and then we just kind of even though everyone has their own life, kind of still keep making music. It's 2025. It's crazy. We got a new album out, and this album right here is actually, it was going to be kind of like Legendary Music 2 and 1, where it's just like, I mean, it was a mix too, but it's like everyone's solo song.
Yeah.
So like this one only had a few people's solo song, but
Heavy is good.
Oh, word, thank you. Yeah, Heavy's on there. That was actually supposed to be on the Batch of the Bonez album, but ended up on the comp. And then we did an album in Colorado when we played Red Rocks last year.
Yeah.
And we stayed in Colorado for a week in a house with everybody, and we just created a new album. And that should be following up this whole album that we're doing now.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you guys just...
We have a lot of music already right now.
Oh, that's so awesome. I love that.
Yeah. It's one of those things where we at least stay consistent on doing music regardless of what's going on. So, I'm happy to see it.
Is it nice to have like such a close-knit friend group like that? Or are they more coworkers? Like what kind of vibe is it?
I'm going to say this. Even 8 nuns on a tour bus, some nuns are gonna be like, man, fuck that bitch at the end. Fuck that. I know I fuck with that whole
creative differences, right?
Yeah. It's gonna be that. So even if you're the best of besties, we're besties. By the end of the tour, you're gonna be like, man, fuck that bitch, fuck your mama, fuck all that. I ain't fucking with you. So it's not like it's that, but it's definitely
like
8
family,
different
right?
people. Yeah, and family don't like each other, as we already know when we go home for Thanksgiving and Christmas. Motherfuckers really don't like you, but I'm gonna sit here and eat this chicken leg with you. But it's the thing of. It's great that even though we're all humans and we all are all rappers who have our own cockiness and all that shit, we can still come together and finish. Like it's so easy to start a project.
Yeah.
It is fucking almost impossible to finish a project, and we finish many projects.
Because everybody's schedules or like...
No, anybody doing anything. It's hard to write a fucking email to someone. You got to write an email that's important today. It'd probably be like the end of the night that you finally fucking get
around to it.
Get around to it because you want to drink, you want to watch TV, you want to walk around, you want to do all this shit. It's just hard to complete a lot of times. And it's dope that, we have found moments to actually complete over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Right.
So... But these guys like have your back for like anything.
Yeah. I'm not talking about like people having backs or not. I'm just saying that still you have the dynamics of even as you get older, you have wives, you have kids.
Yeah,
you have,
of course. That's life.
When you're in that moment, you're not the only one making the decision, and you're not making the decision only with that person about one thing. It's about like the family. It's about all these different things that's happening. So like I'm saying, even though all these things are happening, we still found the moment to complete. And that shit is, anybody that can, complete, it's a great feeling. It's a great moment. So it's good to see it still happening.
Yeah. That's awesome.
But I hate these niggas. I'm joking. Oh, yeah.
You're going to get some DMs. I'm just kidding.
I love these fools. It's all cap. But it's like I said, 8 nuns in a fucking bus. Someone's gonna be like, that bitch flat-footed hoe. You're gonna be like, you're gonna be saying some shit. Ain't nobody saying nothing now, but I'm saying, that's the dynamics of having a big group and doing shit. You know? Yeah.
I feel like you guys should do another version of Creative Differences, just grown now.
Right. To be like, man, you and your kids? Nah. You ain't doing
for you.
No. That would be fucked up. That's not good. I mean, our whole thing is like this. Still, as much as we want to keep it real, we want to stay positive and show that a collective of people that are all different and diverse or whatever it may be can still come together and make something really dope happen. I mean, I'm not going to say we were the only ones back in the day, but back in the day coming out of Oakland, we were pretty diverse in the group of, like, we had a Japanese, we had white, we had Jewish, we had black, we had,
I remember.
We had an idea of that we all can come together no matter who the fuck we are and do something. And that to me is, I hope is a strong understanding period as it keeps moving on.
Yeah.
Because like when the aliens come down, they ain't gonna be like who black, who white. They're just gonna be like humans. Fuck all y'all. We gotta be like, we gotta be ready. So that's how I think,
So say there's someone out there who wants to pursue something. It may not even be like rap. Say it's just something. They have an idea. and they're held back by that fear you were talking about, where you're like, oh, I don't know if I can do it. All those internal thoughts, everything that holds people back.
Mm-hmm.
And what advice do you have from your experience? Because you overcame that.
I think when it comes to like giving someone some advice about like what to do if you feel kind of insecure about shit or you don't feel like you can do it, my first thing is like ain't nothing different and weird about that. You're supposed to have that. An artist better have, an artist better have like that fear, or you're not an artist. You're a fucking industry plan or something. You're following someone else's archetype.
So it's normal.
It's
to
normal
have those
as
fears.
fuck.
Well, how do you
feel it.
get past those things? Because that stops a lot of people. They're like, no, I can't do it. I have these fears, can't get past that.
Well, I think like when it comes to like getting past shit like that and feeling like you can, move on, is really just being, like I said, just stop going for validation. Maybe stop looking at how many likes you get on Instagram or likes on Facebook or Threads. I mean, I don't use Threads, fuck Threads, but stop looking for this whole validation. I mean, I saw some shit that actually, speaking to Oakland legends, Too Short said today. I was looking on Instagram. We'll let that go. But I was looking on Instagram, and he was like, "Oh, I'm making an album right now, and it sounds like nothing today. I'm trying to do it like I'm in 1992 or 1982 or one of those." And he was like, I can't concentrate on what's happening today. I can only basically, what he said, I can only do me. And I think that is the strongest point of anybody. Like, admire, love, adore, be inspired by, but at the same time, remember the greatest thing about this whole moment is that you are you, and you can see all the different divisions of what all these influences and inspirations are, and you can, use it to energize yourself and energize your movement, energize your moment. But at the same time, never give up on how important it is for you to always stay who the fuck you are.
Exactly.
We don't need another robot. We don't need another clone. We don't need another person to say the same thing the next motherfucker that I've already digested and processed said. I need someone to actually be like, oh, this is me. Because that's what inspires me. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I would think that anybody that's on a path of trying to do something, black people, we got a documentary called Eyes on the Prize. Keep your eye on the motherfucking prize, motherfucker. Keep your eye on the prize of what your idea is. The number one thing in life you need to know is what the fuck is your goal? What is it you want? A lot of people don't have an idea what they want, so they chase all these different things and they get lost, and they are easily deterred when someone says something because they're so cloudy with all these different thoughts. Just like this is what I'm doing, this is what I want. If you're like that, then nobody can say shit to you at that point.
Yeah.
Nobody can say nothing to you. If you're like, I know what I want, it has nothing to do with anything that anyone else would want.
Yeah.
Because like I said in the sentence, it's what I want. So like you gotta be strong on that. And as you get older, you gotta really, really apply that as much as possible. I don't give a fuck what a mother says, what a father says, what another person around you says, because they don't see what's in your head. Like I said, if I ask you to say something, you're never gonna say it the way I think you're gonna say it in my head. So at that point, understand everyone's different.
Yeah.
It's so important for you to be you. It's so important for you to follow through. And it's so important for you to realize your validation, that you receive from people has nothing to do with what you're doing.
Exactly. You know that my podcast is called Be You, right?
There we go. Be you.
You just
Yeah, and I don't know, if there's any other way to approach life than to be like okay with being okay with yourself. You know what I mean?
even if nobody else approves.
It has nothing to do with you being okay with yourself.
Right.
I
love that. There's a lot of people that live their life based off of like, oh, I'm supposed to do this by this age and this by this age. So I had a guest recently, her name is Sandra, and she gets a lot of pushback because she's like, I don't want to have kids. I don't want to be married. And she does her own thing, and she does what she likes, and she goes about life like this. And I had her on the show because I was like, well, how do you deal with that? Like, how do you deal with the pushback? She's like, they have nothing to do with me. Why? What do you mean deal with it?
That's the point. You know?
And I'm just like, wow.
We live in this false understanding of this pseudo Norman Rockwell, esque life, like, or everything's supposed to be perfect in a certain way, and it's how it's already been written by the people before you, so you're just supposed to be like them and be bored and live in this boring ass fucking monotonous Groundhog Day over and over. I mean, you don't have to do that. And as we get older in these new eras that we live in, you see people are changing as people. You know what I'm saying? So I don't see that lasting that long. And there might be a point when we get back to like, damn, we missed that, because people will be so individual in nature. I don't want people to be individual in nature. I just want them to remember that they're okay being themselves.
Yeah.
And, when you come together with someone else that's like that, maybe you guys can do something amazing.
Yeah.
Maybe you guys are the architects of that thing you were looking for alone. But only until you're okay with yourself.
Right.
But only until you're like, I know I want to do this in life. Only until you're like, this is my path, and being okay with your path might change at times, but that's only growing, growing. I mean, I was talking to someone about this shit the other day. I was like, man, if you die without having a scar on you, or you die without something happening to you, then that means you didn't fucking live at all. Like, if you're not falling, you're not trying hard enough. Why wouldn't you be trying to live as much as possible? I'm gonna fail every day, and I'm gonna lean into it. I'm gonna lean into that failure because I want to grow.
Yeah. That's the only way you
grow.
grow.
It's so important for me to grow. Yeah. That's why I started doing children's books. So I did the Dennis and the Fire-Breathing Dragon. It's my first book I did, and it's about this big old dragon that has a toothache and is scared to get it pulled, and the dentist that comes and helps him, but he keeps getting burnt up because he's a fire-breathing dragon.
Aww.
And he's like, But, like, you got to lean into what you're scared of. Every time I get on the airplane, I get a window seat because I'm afraid of flying. You know what I'm saying? I want to make sure I'm looking, because anytime you're doing this, that means that you're submissive. That means that you're okay with not being you. You're okay with not looking at your future. Like, people that want the minimum are the people I'm worried about. Those are the people that are fucking dangerous, because they're dream assassins. You get around them, they will fucking kill your dream like that, because they're okay with just doing the minimum or receiving the minimum. That is not fair. Not for you as yourself.
Strong statement.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God.
You are worthy of everything good.
Yeah.
Like, pronto, ASAP.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people talk themselves out of their own blessings.
Yes.
They talk themselves out of their own understanding that they are special, because they think they are supposed to be a clone. And there's nothing enriching in that moment. That's why they can't fuel themselves, because they're cloning so hard.
Yeah, they're trying to be like everybody else.
Yeah.
They're trying to be
and I'm saying,
the status quo.
I tell people, if you're around people that are hella minimal like that, or want the minimum like that, or like, really don't shoot for the stars and nothing, after a while, your brain's gonna condition you to be like, oh, it's okay to be like that. Fuck that. I try to stay away. Then you'll be sterile as fuck. You know what I mean? Mentally sterile. No inspiration, no dreams, no nothing happening that really builds you to the next moment. Fuck that shit. So, you gotta watch out, guard yourself, but still be strong on your own love for your understanding. Understanding of what you want. That's number one.
Did you always think like this?
Like I said, I was on the street for a lot of times. I had to either give in to I'm dead, or give in to, okay, I've died. What else is next? What else am I gonna do? Nothing else is gonna fuck me up. I already done died. Everything's already done. The bottom done fell already. You know what I'm saying? So what's the worst that can happen? Not like that, but what's the worst that can happen is I can stop believing in myself. And I can give into that moment, give into that trauma, give into that understanding that everyone probably thinks this way, so I might as well. Some motherfuckers, they be like, everybody think I'm bad anyway, so I'm gonna act a fool. I'm gonna just start tearing shit up, you know? And that's our default as a person. That's what trauma will do to you.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So, just really understanding that it's okay, you're worthy of things that are good. Understanding you're worthy of being inspirational as well as being inspired, and coming together with people to do something that, is special, that wasn't created before. These are the number one things about life to me.
Yeah.
So, I feel like I'm failing every day, but that's only because I'm leaning.
Yeah.
You know, real quick, I'll come up with an idea and I feel good again.
Yeah.
You know, you want to keep that inspiration, but like each thing builds the fire. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wood is going to be ash at the end. Oh, it's not wood no more, but we needed it to be wood so we can get the fire. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It might be too deep, but I'm saying, you know, you just got to understand there's always a build, break, build, break, build, break. That is, choo, choo, choo. That's like
How
the
you
train.
grow.
Yeah. So.
And how you keep progress, right?
Yeah. So I'm telling you, motherfuckers, hey, listen to everything I said.
Yeah.
And how I said it. Because that's how it be, nigga. No, I'm sorry.
So do you have anything else that you want to share to the BU world,
I mean,
your fans?
I feel
Everybody
like,
loves you out there, so.
I mean, I love y'all too, you know. Well, not that person, but,
Yeah,
no.
you gotta go.
Yeah, you
Just
gotta go
kidding.
to the I mean, shit, it's been like a TED Talk, so we didn't even talk about music as much as I talked about feelings and life. But I'm saying it's all the same thing.
Yeah.
It's all the same thing. Music is life to me. Music is my religion, and it's how I take each footstep on this path, you know? So,
Yeah.
I mean, I think just don't give up on the idea of you. Don't give up on the idea of what you wanted to do. Stop listening to all these people that ain't doing nothing. They just sitting around on the couch and just fucking bullshitting, and they don't even see the specialness in you because they never saw the specialness in their own self. Get away from them dream assassins. Get away from that whole fucking mentality. Be okay with just being like, this is what I want to do, and this is what the fuck I'm gonna do, nigga. And that's it. No, I mean, in all honesty, that without the nigga, but nigga, you know, I don't. You can add that too, but I'm saying just honestly be okay with you doing something that actually makes you happy. That's what the fuck I'm all about.
Yes, I love it. You are the
September
perfect-
Rain, Back to the Bones. Actually, there's a song on that. Listen to that. But
Yeah.
yeah, and you know, thanks for buying me a drink and letting me just spew all this tonight. It's been a blast.
Yeah, it's needed. I feel like the world needs to hear these deeper conversations instead of like
Right.
surface level stuff all the time, you know?
But
So-
it all, you know, it's all good though. Both sides, surface and deep, you know, because when you dig into a scoop, it's all pieces of the same. You know, that might sound deep, but be okay with experiencing life. Be okay with experiencing life.
Yeah.
Because it's the only
The
way you're
ups
gonna
and
learn.
the downs.
Yeah, it's the only way you're gonna learn. And don't give up because you failed, because you should be failing and you should be getting up. That's it.
I love it. This is awesome.
So get your ass up, and we'll talk to you soon on the next Rabbit Station.
Yeah. What? Wait, so I end my show with I say be who, and my guests say be
Boo. Oh no, no, nah. My
Be you.
boo. Oh, okay, be
Okay,
you.
again, ready?
Not BYU. That's a whole nother
No,
conversation.
no,
okay, I used to
no.
go to
Okay.
school in White.
We're be who?
Be you.
Woo! See you next week.
Rabbits.
Yay!